Hey family, welcome to Daily Dose of Wisdom. How y'all doing today? Here's your dose. Are you an introvert? Yes, you. Are you an introvert? Well, let's dive into what that is and what it means. So first, let's talk about the 5 myths, right, that we generally hear about people who are introverted. First one is that introverted people are shy. Eh, not at all. Being shy and being introverted are two different things. People who are shy are just unable to, or they have a fear, or they have a little bit of anxiety that holds them back from mingling and interacting, in their social interactions, right? And introverted people are not that. They're able to interact in their social environments just fine. They might really, really like it. They might be the life of the party. They might be the outspoken one, right? And so it's two different things. Another myth about people who are introverted are that they are socially awkward. Again, totally two different definitions. Being awkward is the inability to understand or to mesh, to mold, right, into what the social cues are, right, into what the social norms are, unable to kind of follow that through, to become it, to mend, to blend, right, with that environment. Again, two different definitions. Another myth, right, that we hear a lot about people who are introverted is that we're rude, right? Oh, did I say we? The cat's out the bag. I am an introverted person, right? That is one of my characteristics, one of my traits. All right. So sometimes, a myth is that we're rude. Not at all. What happens is that as introverts, we run out of energy, right? For that moment, for that environment that we're currently in. And so what happens is we might be a little crabby, we might get like a little zoned out, but it has nothing to do with you, not at all, or the event or that we're interacting in. It's just that we ran out of energy, right? So that's another myth. A fourth myth is that, we need to be fixed, right? Somehow there's something wrong with people that's introverted. Not at all. Everybody has their own characteristics, right? Everybody has their own personalities. We don't need to be fixed. We just need to learn more about ourselves, better ourselves, right? Self-development for everybody, and start, putting into action, right? The positive things that we learn, put into action the self-developmental pieces, and just better ourselves on our day-to-day in our interactions as well as our relationships, okay? And another thing is that, we wish we were extroverted, right? At times people, following along the fourth myth, they think that maybe we wish we were different. Like, no, why different? Difference is a beautiful thing, right? Variety is a beautiful thing. And so introverted people, they're fine with who they are, right? They don't wish to be introverts, right? But if you're confused about kind of like why you're a certain way, right? And it's the important thing is to learn about yourself, right? Is that self-development piece so that you can better yourself and learn to love yourself, right? Because that's key. Before you can love anyone else, you have to start loving yourself, okay? All right, guys. So let's jump into it. Let's talk about what are some of those things that we do, ways that we feel, what makes us an introvert, right? So, for example, if you enjoy spending time alone, you might be an introvert, right? Alone time for introverts are super, super, super important. This is the time, right, that we feel relaxed, that we feel at peace, that we get to recharge, right? So if we had a battery full of energy, we get to recharge our battery of energy, okay? And so alone time is very, very important for us. It allows us to grow in a way, right? And return back to kind of peace, to center, to calm, okay? Another thing about introverts is that there's certain types of like socializing environments that just drains us, right? So for example, if we're in a place where it's like huge, a lot of people, and there is a need to socialize and to mingle, that might drain us really quick. Again, we might be great at it. We might be the life of the event. Like we might be able to talk to people and network and do all these things. However, depending on your battery load, you might drain quickly or you might drain slower, right? But what happens is you get drained, right? And so certain environments does that to us who are introverted people. In contrast to people who are extroverted, right? They might be able to go on and on and on and on like they need that. But for us, it's different. It's the opposite, right? Another thing is that introverted people do their best work alone, right? And most times, this is not to say that introverted people are not team players, not at all. We can actually be great team players. However, introverted people do their best work alone because, again, we get to enjoy that alone time. We get to be creative, to think, to not have like different, pressures, opinions around us, like drowning us. We get to just be ourselves, right? In a way. And in being yourself is always the most authentic way to be, right? And so for us, right, that's something that's positive, and that helps us, right, to create our best work. Another thing is that in terms of interactions, at times for us, hanging out with a few close friends is way better than going to an event or a gathering with like hundreds or a lot of people. Why? Because what happens with introverted people, we don't like small talk, right? And when I say we don't like small talk, because at times to us, small talk feels like inauthentic, right? It feels fake. It feels like, oh, we're just talking just to talk. In contrast, introverted people, we love meaningful relationships. We love meaningful interactions. We love meaningful conversations and talk. So, for example, if we're having a meaningful conversation, let me tell you, that introverted person will be talking all day, right? Because again, is the quality, right? The quality of that connection, the quality of that conversation is what matters to us and what keeps us going, again, on that energy battery. It keeps us going, and it kind of stays up that energy, and so we're able to last longer in situations like that. Okay. Another thing about introverted people is that we prefer to stay out of the spotlight, right? So let me break this down for you guys so you can understand. There are many creatives, many professionals, many business people, on TV, writers, all over, performers that are introverted people, right? And you would never think of it, again, because there's a certain stigma or certain stereotype about introverted people that makes others think that the only ones out there, right, just that are performing, that are doing big things, that are out there and loud and speaking and whatnot, are those who are extroverted, right? And so in the sense of, we prefer not to be in the spotlight, right? But if it involves our work, if it involves a certain passion of ours, if it involves us, doing meaningful work, and the spotlight is necessary, then, we will gladly step into that spotlight, right, to do meaningful work. However, just to be in a spotlight, no, we'd rather pass on that, right? So it's an important piece about introverted people. And think about it. Think about if you're that type of person. Think about how you feel about being in the spotlight. Think about, when do you do your best work, right? Think about, how do you enjoy spending time alone? Do you really enjoy it? Does it feel like a burden? Do you always need people around you? So kind of start to think about the type of person that you are and if you might be an introvert, okay? Another thing that describes introverts is that, we don't always know what to say, right? Again, because we're not like this extra extroverted person, social butterfly, always ready to speak on the fly. At times we might not know what to say, right? So we might need a little minute to kind of think about it, or we might need to come back, or at times we need to be in our own heads to kind of really break down what was said and think of a response, right? That we feel like, okay, this is my response 100%. Again, because it's like we always want to be able to speak accurately about our feelings or our thoughts. And so we might need a minute to kind of think about our responses at times, okay? Introverts also most times might be better at writing than speaking. Again, there are motivational speakers out there. There are performers out there, creatives out there that perform great, right? On the stage, that can go up and speak to a group of people, massive people. But that does not mean, right, that we're hindered in our ability or love for writing, right? And so introverts also are able to flourish at that, to be able to write, put down their thoughts, right? Put down all the details. So think about if you're that type of person as well. Okay. And then lastly, one thing to remember and to keep in mind, guys, is that There's no such thing as two introverts being the same, right? The idea of introvert, the idea of being extrovert, it's like a spectrum, right? We all fall in different spots. Again, we each one of us are unique, right, in our own right. And so we might be introverts, right, all together, but there might be differences among us, right? There might be differences in how we interact. Again, our one introvert social battery might last longer than another introvert's social battery, right? One introvert might need like a whole lot of alone time in order to relax, in order to recharge and be at peace, while another introvert might just need a little bit of time. One introvert might be that social butterfly, right? Might be able to speak out and step into that role, right? And gather people, right? While another introvert is more of like let me step back, let me watch, let me mingle, and then let me go get a break from all of that. Okay, so think about it. Are you an introvert? Thank you, y'all, for joining me today on Daily Dose of Wisdom. I hope this was able to help you, and I hope now you can start to think about more of your different personality traits and characteristics. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Please press the bell button to be notified of upcoming videos. Have a great day.